One of the greatest of all filmmakers would have to be Orson Welles. Very influential and groundbreaking filmmaker who was brilliant, flawed, gifted, tormented, all at the same time. Only two of his films, his first and his last, were completed start to finish as he envisioned them. His first film, Citizen Kane, may be the one most often associated with him. Certainly groundbreaking in terms of its filmmaking technique, camera work, sets, acting, and especially storytelling. Very influential. Many critics and filmmakers still rate it as the best film ever made. And his final film, F for Fake, which is a documentary, a very personal film, a film essay that focuses on defining art, what makes art what it is, and how does that relate to artificiality, to what is fake. It's a testament about Welles the man, Welles the artist, Welles the filmmaker. It's one that shouldn't be missed. In between those two, he made a number of films in various locations across the world, most of them completely removed from the studio system. Welles would take on acting gigs just to get money to finance his project that he was presently working on that would span 2 or 3 years before he could get a film completed. They're all flawed, but they all have the marks of genius in them. Othello, great version of Macbeth. The Trial, a marvelous interpretation of Franz Kafka. Chimes at Midnight, that's my favorite Welles film, where he takes the Falstaff character from a number of Shakespearean plays and puts them together in one story arc and plays the lead character himself. And Mr. Arkadin, that's the film that Welles considered his great loss. He never could get that story to a point of even partial completion. There are different versions of it in existence, and if you can put all the different versions together, you have a much clearer picture of how great that film could have been. But it was taken out of his hands, in part because of himself. And in many cases, Welles was his own worst enemy. He would squabble with the money, he would squabble with the producers, and sometimes he would just walk away to the detriment of the work itself. But a studio film that really bears the mark of Welles, not only in acting but in directing, is Touch of Evil. Great example of film noir. One of the stars, Charlton Heston, convinced the studio to allow Welles to direct. They were getting him to act the lead part, Hank Quinlan. But he was also allowed to direct. But in the end, the finished product seemed too obscure to the studio, and so they changed it. And again, Welles wasn't present and had removed himself. But it's still a great film. And his portrayal of this marvelous character who falls from some level of greatness to total loss, really carrying with him the mark of the Aristotelian tragic hero. Lost Elegy for Hank Quinlan. Los Robles, 1957. What does it matter what you say when truth is not an option? When your future's all used up in shadows over empty walls? In whispers you should never hear but can't stop listening. A ticking in your head as if dreams were ever enough. As if one word or even two could be the sum of tarot cards in smoky rooms. Music from the pianola so old it's new. The lost beauty with its bent for grieving. A place to hide. An almost life. The touch for grace and obsession. For sorry luck. The hard nights drifting on dirty water, clean and silent, all measured for a fall.